And I ended up, in my first year, I was definitely in the wrong kind of crew, and they were doing heavy drugs, heavy liquor every night, day to night. And I fell into that bad habit. And the one thing that's always been the positive about me is that the addictive personality, if I target it correctly, it's my winning streak. But if I do it the other side of thing, I'm not the kind that just can do something in moderation. I'm like, I'm a see 48 hours later and I'll still be going. So there's some big moments there that I remember clearly going, I need to do something. It was Christmas time. I didn't have my family, so I volunteered for the ASPCA to go and pick up dogs the day after Christmas, because that is, as I mentioned, the highest rate of return. And we went and picked up a dog, and I'll never forget it. The lady that I was working with was Spanish. I didn't know a lick of Spanish, not one. And she said, just call me Mamacita. I was like, what? What are you talking about? And she goes, she heard a yelp from a trash can. She picked it up, looked inside, and was like, if you go over there and pick that up. And I was like, what are you saying? She goes, this. Mm-hmm. It's yours. And I was like, opened it up, and this one little dislocated jaw, I was like on the floor bawling like the queen that I am. Oh my God. But it was the instant thing of like having a responsibility. In life, addiction is a lifelong thing. And people say that power of, I think the word pet, yes, that's the dictionary term of it, but I feel like it's like a best friend that just can't speak back, but can do everything else.
So is it fair to say that Mama helped you through your addiction, your depression? Ooh, she played a key role in that?
Down she goes. She actually really did. Now, not to say that there weren't highs and lows post this, but it was almost like the reality of this for me, truthfully, was at my worst. I was doing things by myself, drugs, alcohol, and I would literally get into a space where I'd feel like she was looking at me, condemning me. So I was like, well, I can't have it. No, she was judging. Yeah. For real, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like she actually was, but people are like, no, he's wacky. I'm wacky. But I felt like she's looking at me being like, again? Yeah. Like, we're doing this again, and it's like a Tuesday night, and we have to go to work and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, that kind of like gave me my kick up the butt. And it was like, get your life together. You didn't travel halfway across the world to be a dropout in life. And, it's a struggle, but now at 40 years old, it's like, I truly say, like, between Mama and also learning what that responsibility is. I think people with pets or animals in general, there is an underlying, like, responsibility that gives you, like, purpose. Right. I know that sounds a little deep, but if you connect it to like what I went through, it gives you purpose, and it creates a routine where you can actually wake up and be like, I have to walk the dog. So just in the same routine as if you're going to go drink on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or do whatever, you shake that routine up and you be like, no, 6 a.m. is when I get out of bed. And I still, every morning, now it's like 5:30, 5:45 every morning. So I'm a creature of habit. So it's like, I feel like this changed my world.
That's beautiful.
Completely.
Yeah,
I think I'm still alive.
Yeah, I have a few friends that also have like come out to me as addicts, and they told me that when they got pets, like it changed everything. They're like, for like several weeks afterwards, like it kept me like straight because I was like taking care of that. Like I had to do this for like my dogs or something like that.
It sounds like there's people that I've done it all. I've been to rehab twice, been through the steps, been through all of that. I'm a very strong-willed person. If I'm going to do something, I'm just going to be like, click it and just do it, because you can listen and you can hear things on repeat. But until you actually like change your patterns, and this gives you an instant pattern. I've always had a big heart, but this gives you like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Wake up, get out of bed, do that. You don't want to wake up and be in a haze. So like, let's start a new pattern. So I, just like you said with your friends, it's the extreme thing. People be like, oh, I got a pet. It's so lovely. I was like, no, this, I would say, saved my life.
Yeah.
Truthfully, because I don't deal well with, my personality is addictive in itself. Imagine it the other way. I could be 6 feet under, and that's real talk.
But your story takes a turn for the better, and Mama along for the ride.
Poor thing.
You have become a marketing guru with clients like Gertie with the Real Housewives of Miami, just to name a few. And you've been on this trajectory, and from being this lifesaver to you, now Mama's almost part of your brand.
She is, and I think for me, it wasn't something. I think the best ideas that I've ever had are not something where I've thought too hard and too long on them. Because if I think too hard and long, then you kind of come at it with like, oh, it's pre-planned. Everything's like in a moment. So for me, truthfully, I needed her to stay with me to keep me on track. It's not like the first 6 months of the year. I was in New York for 13 years. So it was like there was trouble on every corner looking for me. But I was building a really big career at the same time, and just like being around people that I would never have dreamed of. That just was like, how did I get here? And she would just come with me. She would literally just be with me she sits here like, look at that.
Aw.
Come on. Yes, mama.
Yeah.
But she, it definitely turned into something where once I understood branding and marketing, I was like, well, I can be, not only can I be the gay guy,
The dog guy.
the handsome guy, I can be the guy with the dog.
Yeah.
And there's power in the guy with the dog. I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember him. The guy with the dog with the underbite. Like, play into your strengths. And I was like, oh, it worked.
Nice.
It worked. Now I just need, I need a publishing deal. Let's go. The guy with the dog. Come on. Ding, 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 ding,
That's
ding,
it.
ding.
The guy and his dog. That's
I
the
love it.
title.
Why not?
Nice.
So today I think this is so cool for our listeners. You're going to put on your PR hat and talk to us about how you help brand people through finding their authenticity, because you can have the best product in the world or the best story or business sense, but if people don't know who you really are, it's never going to sell.
There's the word. You said the word authenticity. Now, that is a big, big word. And I think people are afraid to be themselves. Now, listen, I am somebody that doesn't truly care and this has come through time. And this is where you say, like, people meet me, there would be like, you either like me or you don't. There's no middle ground to me. There really isn't. Or you're petrified of me because I'll bite you. So, that being said, I look at life now and I'm like, how do I give that, like, because when I was a child, I was petrified. I remember my mother put me into like drama school to like get me to talk.
Same.
And now I can't be shut up.
Yeah.
Same.
So it's like, I remember my mother pushing me to be big, be bold, be loud, be this. And then when I started to be big and bold, she's like, don't be too bold, don't be too loud. I was like, well, which one is it? Like, and now she always says, to this day, because my mother lives in Australia for reference. So it's like the only from a million oceans away, I'm still petrified of her in the best way. Love your mommy. But the thing is, she always laughs. The only thing that's going to get you in trouble will be your mouth. And I was like, but once you harness that power, I believe everyone has a story. Whether that's a story that's for consumption by a local audience, a regional audience, or an international audience is honestly how you play the game. And it's like your brand, whatever that is, you're a TV host. We've done a lot of different work together. We've done photo shoots. We've done this. I think your brand was missing just like realizing what a boss babe and powerhouse that you are. You're so in the role of like moving and doing. And you're like 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1,
Right,
go.
yeah.
When you look back and be like, the milestones that you've just celebrated and you guys as a team and what you're bringing to the table now, my friend. Like it's like the way that you're actually playing into the new age nuances is really, I've always said, this shows like the little engine that could, but now the engine is in full rev and it's
going.
only a matter of time till it, there's a spot missing. Hello.
There he is.
Hello.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think a lot of times, people think, oh, well, she's on TV. She must have all the confidence in the world. But
No.
there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and you become your own worst critic. And
I love that about the humbleness of this woman here, truthfully.
Well, thank you.
So, we've got to know each other over the years, and I'm like, that's what makes you so good at what you do. And that's okay, though, to actually have those moments of like, it makes you relatable. I'm sure nobody can walk through this life and be like, oh my God, it's amazing. I'm all this.
Yeah,
I'm
that
all
was so easy because it's not. None of it.
But none
right.
of it's easy. And if it was, I'd be like, everybody's going to be a Gale. Everybody's going to be a Birdie. Everybody's going to, it's like the pioneers that stay the course. reinvent themselves and like keep up with culture and, you know, get through the bad days, because there will be bad days. And that's what,
yeah.
you know, you've been very open with me about that. And it's kind of given me the thing of like, look what you're doing now. I remember I sat with you last year and we did the photo shoot. She was on the cover of La Palm magazine.
I
And
saw that.
I said, you need to like get into the tech side of things. You need to like the podcast. You have your own. I was like, you need somebody to do the podcast.
Right.
Hello.
There's Brody.
Here
There
I
he
am.
is.
Yeah.
Here we are.
You understand it,
Yeah.
and you're like driving this now, and that's what I was like. There we go.
Yeah.
He's
Perfect.
there now.
It worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for Matt?
I want to hear about your chimp friends, man. You haven't talked about that at all.
I haven't.
No.
Don't get me
You talked
started.
about it on Bloom, but not
Yeah, talk to us about it up here. Yeah.
I mean, wow. I remember just like in life, this is the greatest thing that I've ever think. Honestly, that the things that change your life dramatically generally happen in like the most obscure ways. So I remember being at Fashion Week in New York, and I'd been scrolling about this chimp for 6 months, and I was like, where is this chimp? And I was like, oh my God, it's in Miami. I was like, I'm not somebody that, at that point I was living in LA, so I was not somebody that really frequented Miami as like a hotspot destination. And after, you know, going through what I went through, I was like, I don't really do clubs anymore. So it's like, that wasn't even on my scale ever. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so close to New York. So I flew all the way to Miami, and I spent first day, second day, 3 day, paid the fees to get in there, and met everybody that worked there. And it was like this instant, like, I'm obsessed. He was like he was 3 years old at that point.
What's his name?
Limbani.
Limbani.
So I was like, oh, my baby.
So now you volunteer at the zoo and rep the zoo?
I do their full PR and marketing.
Nice.
That's the power of like how to envision your life.
Yeah.
So my life was like, how do I get in there and be so they can't get rid of me?
Right. Oh, I can
And do a
this.
really good job at it.
Yeah.
So I got my way in, PR and marketing, and then along the way, I was like, this bond started to form. And it became like a thing of like, you know, life is compartmentalized, and being like, we have probably 4 to 6 people that work with him, because it's like he's at an age now, 7, where, you know, this is not a pet. This is a wild animal. He lives on 6.5 acres of land out in Homestead. All USDA, like everything is above board. This is a fully functional foundation. And I just get to like, I said to you, it's like gets me like crazy thinking that sometimes I'm like, oh, how was your day? I was like, you know, sweaty balls, sweaty chimp. The whole, like, you forget that like this is not normal.
Right.
Because this is normal.
messing with
This
chimp.
is literally
Yeah.
normal to me.
Yeah.
I forget sometimes that, and then you throw her in the mix, and like the relationship that they have, and it's the one person in life. Mama will bite you. She'll go at you for getting in my space. She's like, no, that's my dad. She sits there and allows him to like have his time, and it's been like, it's just like the new normal, and it's like it's anything but normal. But it's mine. It's amazing, and like I've really jumped into the logistics of like as he's getting older, the research on it, what his next 6 years looks like. Reintroducing like a partner for him. Like there's a whole like I'm now like
Invested.
no vet tech. Like I know everything just by Google and like reaching out to the people that have done this before, and like really, I don't take this lightly at all. So I don't want people to ever think that this is like
Of course.
me doing this for the gram, because it's definitely not. You know what I mean? Anything that is posted there generally is like followed by like we're fundraising for his forever home. Everything is purpose driven. It just looks amazing, and it's like doesn't hurt that, you know, millions
have
of
fun
eyes.
doing it,
Doesn't hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the gram numbers go up,
Yeah.
but there is a huge purpose behind this now, and it's definitely changed my. I was like, what else can I get? An elephant? Like, what's
Right.
next?
Yeah, what
I was like,
animal
what-
will come into your life
Elephant would be
next?
What's next? No, I'm tapped out. This
Yeah.
is it.
I was
This
going
is
to
it.
say,
Yeah.
chimps live for like ever, don't they? So you're going
like
to be an
40
old man still taking it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I mean. It's a lifetime commitment.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, I'll be in the Florida area for
For a while.
For a while.
Time.
Yeah. So tell us what's going on with your marketing world, like some of the clients, and how's everything going?
I was like, how's everything going?
Fashion Week. I mean, is there anywhere that you're not?
Yeah, so next month, what are we in, August? September?
Yeah,
I was like, where are we
August,
in this
yeah.
life?
Right. halfway.
Yeah, we're halfway. So next month, the first 2 weeks is going to be New York Fashion Week. So I just am putting the schedule together. I'm going with one of the Pussycat Dolls, Kermit Bakar, who,
Cool.
when I co-hosted Bloom's Pride special, was on. You know, and I'm just putting that list together of shows we're going to. I was like, Naomi Campbell's doing a show with Pretty Little Things. I was like, oh, I'll meet these people. You know, I think the dichotomy between, like, you know, getting sweaty and dirty with a chimp, and then, you know, I was like, oh, confirms Naomi Campbell. This is fantastic.
Yes.
It's weird. No?
No,
It's a little-
Like you can do it all,
I
man.
love life, bro.
Yeah.
I love life, and I generally feel like this year has turned, you know, I turned 40 in January, and most people will be like, oh my God. No, I beat addiction. I'm finally getting better with my finances. I went shopping before I came here,
Right.
so I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least you know, you got to replace one habit with another. So shopping's not a bad one.
Right.
But
it's a little better.
Yeah, it's a little better. So for me, it's like, truly, it's like I'm in this new prime of life where it's like I'm happy. Whatever happens is cool.
And your clients are like your friends.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's like we're all one big happy family. And it's like when we win, we win. And when we lose, we, you know, it's the good, the best of it and the worst of it. It's the toxic trait that follows through. If you harness it in the right way, it's a good thing. So it's like, you know, we feel, oh my God, that's a huge loss. And then we're like, shake it out, like perspective, guys. Everything in life now I look at is all perspective. Like we are not curing cancer. That's why I was like, my motto these days is being on the joke. Not that life is a joke, but always remember, like, we're not flying to the moon. We're not doing this. Like, laugh a little. Like, be in on that joke of, like, life, you know, just be present. Lean into that chaotic vibe sometimes, because it's like once you shake that snow globe and you, like, the snow settles and the dust settles, that's when, like, it really does become special. If you're willing to wait out and get through those kind of sketchy, shaky moments.
Yeah.
So it's like I've said before, I don't believe in balance anymore. I do not anymore. I was like, throw me into the chaos and we'll weed our ways out. I got mama, I got a chimp. I think I'm stacked up.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, and like, you know, and a little bit of just like maybe delusion, belief, and see what happens. Because it's like, this has been, what are we, 6 months, 8 months into this year? It's been the best year of my entire life.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
The realizations of things and like being able to say no to things and like have choice and like getting to do things like this and like really starting to be like, oh my God, I've everything that I've worked my butt off for 40 something years. I do understand my craft. I'm good at this. This is okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what
you're
I
in
mean?
your stride. You're in your sweet spot.
But sometimes you forget and you're like, oh, am I good enough? And that's what we were just discussing.
Yeah.
But that's okay too, right?
Right.
Any advice in closing remarks for people out there that are trying to brand themselves and are trying to make themselves stand out?
Honestly, look in the mirror and realize that like I think maybe it's a grand closing, but to have somebody rock with you and believe in you, whether it's your product, you have to believe in yourself first. And that took me a damn long time to like. I'm just watching this photo shoot that I did the other day on camera, and I'm like, who is
that's that guy.
Who is he? It's like, oh my God, what an ego on this dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
But believe in yourself. And like, even if you have to fake it till you really find your sweet spot, because everybody has their sweet spot. If you can't do that for yourself first, nobody's going to buy into your product. Nobody's going to buy into anything. You might come up with I can come up with a spin to sell you something, but we're talking longevity.
Right.
If you want to be the star or you want to be an actor, whatever it is you want to be realistic too. This might be tough, but like, you know, there's talent and there's no talent. So like, you know, find what you're good at. And deep down, we all know that everyone has a purpose here. We were put on this earth with purpose. So I feel like, you know, find that, harness yourself, and work on yourself first. Because it took me, God, 20 plus years to really start to like apply what I've been yakking through my mouth. You know, I can talk a good talk, but but I wasn't applying it for a long time. So once I actually,
So walk the walk.
yes, baby,
You gotta walk the walk.
not just talk it,
I
because I
love
can
it.
talk real
Yeah,
well.
walk it like you talk it.
Well, Matt, we love you to pieces. We appreciate you coming on Bloom, our syndicated show, and now joining us in the Bloom Health Club.
Yes.
Thank you, my friend. And you make sure that you find us on Spotify, Apple. You can watch us here in the Tampa Bay market on WFLA News Channel 8. And again, we're syndicated, now streaming in 350 million homes nationwide. So thanks for joining us, Matt.
Thank you, my brother.
Yep.